Hey there, scrappy friends. Suzanne here in the studio today with a very short video on the Cherish scrapbooking workshop. This is just the most beautiful paper line from close to my heart. It's a very good workshop. There were not a lot of extras, but I did manage to get a single extra page, and I will show you that. And I have 6 quick tips to show you also. Okay, before we do that, let's take a quick look at the cutting instructions. And really the only instructions I have that I would change is just to point out that on this page of the strips, which I think is a fun way that they put this in the paper line. This is really nice. There are 3 here that are together. I cut those same 3 over here from this sheet of paper. The other thing I might mention is that these 2B and 2F here, you're going to be using the back of the paper. So if you would rather have more of these left over, these particular lines, instead of these particular lines, you could flip that, and I think you can get that from here. I didn't double measure it, but I think you can. But if not, for sure, I would save these 2 that are the same because that's what I'm using for my extra page. The only other thing is, of course, I move around these kinds of things to get more out of this paper and to have a longer piece left. I end up needing mist and mink photo mats. So I wanted to have some room here to get both of those. And it ended up, I think I had enough to actually get it from here. I don't think I had to go to my stash. Okay, that's it for the changes to the directions. Let's look at those layouts, shall we? Here is the first one. Isn't this gorgeous? It's so, so pretty. I really like this. Look at this stunning floral array here. Okay, my first tip is they have you using, as an optional thing, the texture paste. And here we added ink to it. I put it in the center of this flower for dimension, and then we also added it without ink to the center of this flower with dimension. So if you want, you could just skip the texture paste, or if you don't have it, you can skip it altogether. You could do the same thing by using a little ink here and here. You could sponge it on, or you could use a water brush to apply a little bit of ink and just give it a little bit more depth to these flowers. Okay, my second tip is if you do use texture paste, don't be afraid to use your fingers. The palette knives work pretty well, but sometimes if you wanted a nice thin layer, which is what I like, I went in there and used my fingers. And it cleans up pretty easily off of your hands. My third tip is to add a little bling. You could use our silver glitter gems, would look pretty on this. If you still had leftover bluebell pearls, they would look pretty on this. I was out of all of those things in my stash. So I went to my stash, my non-close to my heart stuff, and got these little gems. They're silver and sort of a blue pearl look. So that's what I use. But I think just adding that little extra gives it just a little bit more zing, if you will. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's move on to the second of the double layouts. Okay, this one here is where we actually did texture paste through the stencil So I did like that. I liked how that turned out on this page. It would look just as nice if you sponged it with ink, and you'll see that on the very next one. But I'm starting to get fond of the texture paste, so we'll see if I use a little more of that. This is just beautiful here. Die cuts are so pretty. And then there's a few stickers in here, and again, I've sprinkled some gems. So very, very easy. Pretty? Okay. Here is the third of these, and my fourth quick tip here is in how to lay down this paper. When you have a large sheet of this that you've cut something out and you need to adhere it to another sheet, I would suggest not doing any adhesive around the middle. Add your adhesive around the circle first, and then you can line up this piece of paper and then let it lay down this way or lay down this way. And then you can always go back, pull up your corners, and add adhesives. I think I've done that before in a layout, maybe, you know, 5 or 6 months ago. I remember that coming up. So in this one, they actually started using they have these little bitty stickers that are supposed to look like gems. And I put those on, but I still liked adding my own bling on top. I do like the bits and bobs. So this turned out very, very pretty. Next up is that extra page. As I told you, there were hardly anything left. So what did I do for my last page? I made this a single page, and I think it's really going to end up, I'm going to score it down the middle, and it's going to end up being a 6x12 flip flap or pocket page. I did it very symmetrical, going from side to side, but you could also do the same from top to bottom, and then put your photo mats this way instead of the other way. I end up having to cut out, fussy cut flowers for the embellishments. This one here I cut and put here because I had a little accident there, dumped something on that and needed to cover a little boo-boo. This thin ribbon is just a paper ribbon based on one of those cutouts of the strip paper. So this went together really easy. This would be really pretty with the word Cherish up here in a nice script, or some kind of swirly sticker up there, don't you think? If you wanted it to stand as a page alone. And then you could also, if it's a standalone page, you could also bring in all your photo mats and make it more of a block design. I like that Close to My Heart is giving us these more involved clusters, but I kind of hate that there's not a lot of extras left over, because I like playing with the extras, as you know. So I will show you how this looks kind of as a pocket page in between the other pages in the close-ups. So I hope you'll take time to watch those and look at that. I also wanted to mention, I don't know if you can even tell, but my studio is a little bit more echoey today because we're moving furniture around. I'm going to be getting some new cabinets in here. So things are kind of in disarray. I'm not sure if I will get back here again before the holidays. And if not, I wanted to wish you all the best holiday season. Okay, as always, I thank you for your time and attention. See you soon. Bye-bye.